All right, good evening, or whatever it is, wherever you are, whenever you're watching. This is way later than I usually start, but you know, the nature of things today. Just I wasn't even going to do this, but then I thought there's so much news that by tomorrow this will all be old, and what a shame. Why waste the news? We don't want to waste it, right? That would be hilarious. So I think let's start with the end in sight, or not in sight. Let's start with the end. We just heard the Israeli army say that they are looking at least 3 more weeks, at least 3 more weeks. And so we're talking about, now they have already hit, the US and Israel have hit a combined 2,000 targets in Iran, they say. 2,000. So in 3 more weeks, so that's 2,000 in 2 weeks. So you're talking that it would be 4,000, 5,000 to, like, what else? What else is my question. So that's what we heard today. This is what's been the big news anyway here in Israel, is that this could go on for 3 more weeks, which would extend through all of the holidays, including Ramadan ends on Friday. I think Friday. It's Friday-ish. Actually, before, because I think the whole Eid al-Fitr will start on Thursday or Friday, and it carries on for a couple days. So then Ramadan ends, then you've got Palm Sunday for the Catholics, and then you've got Easter for the Catholics and Palm Sunday for the Orthodox, and then you've got Passover, and then you've got Easter for the Orthodox, and then Passover ends, and this takes us till the middle of April, because we're already in March. So this could go on. Now, last night, we're talking about, they hit 2,000 targets, they said. And also, I think the numbers that they're saying, like of targets that, or the reduction in capabilities of, that's Hezbollah's 90%. They said, I don't know what they're saying about how much they've destroyed of Iranians' capabilities, but Iran clearly still has missiles. And in fact, we found that out last night, because there were 10 ballistic missiles fired at Israel, at all different parts of Israel overnight. The people in the center of the country, I think, went to the bomb shelter 5 times between 2 a.m. and 9 a.m. So, and the other thing is, Iran has, we told you about the cluster munition, the cluster warhead munitions. So I hope this is accurate, because I'm going to show you guys. And by the way, hello, Walter and Mom and Dad. I see you guys here. And now let me see where I have this. Because you can see how it works. But actually, I don't have it. Maybe I got rid of it because I don't know if I could trust the source. Oh, wait, no, I do have it. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Now, Tony, tell me if this works. Okay, so
threaded firing pin from its weight, making the grenade.
You know what? I'm not even going to. Let's go back to the beginning.
It's fired. Step number 1. The fuse assembly activates the explosive charge. Step number 2. The expulsion charge pushes this plate. Step number 3. The outer casing detonates, releasing the M42 grenades as shown in this animation. Step number 4. As soon as it's expelled, a nylon ribbon stabilizer kicks into action. This stabilizer extends and positions the grenade perfectly, getting it ready for its next moves.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there, because actually I don't know if this is exactly what we're looking at, but I think you get the idea. of more or less. So I don't know if it's necessarily grenades that we've been seeing, but these cluster bombs, they at some point when they get in the atmosphere, they open up and they release between 20 to 100 little bombs, and they spread around a large area, and they are almost impossible to shoot down because there's so many of them, and they're also at a lower altitude, and they cause a lot of damage and can be very lethal. So this is what Iran has been sending this way for a while. But yesterday they announced they were going to send a never before used missile. So now we're going to check that out because I had to look that up because I never heard of it before. So so let's check that out. And hi, Tim. Does that mean it's also Kim there? Hi, guys. Good to see you. All right. First, just read about it right here. Let's see. It is called the Segil. The Segil is an Iranian domestically developed two-stage, solid-fueled, medium-range ballistic missile, known for its high speed, reportedly around Mach 13, and rapid launch capability. It features a range of up to 2,500 kilometers and carries a 650 kilogram warhead, allowing it to strike targets across the Middle East, including Israel. Okay, so 65 kilograms is over 1,300 pounds, and 2,500 kilometers. Wow, 2,500. That's, wow, I'm not going to even try to do the miles right now. But anyway, so if you're American, look it up. But so this is, so here's the usage was reportedly used operationally for the first time by the IRGC during attacks on Israel in March 2026, marking a significant escalation. So I don't know. Now, Israel has not confirmed that this has been used, but this is what Iran said that they were using, that they were going to use over in the next few launches. So last night, so like I said, there were 10 launches today. I think 7 alone overnight, like between midnight and 8 in the morning, and then it continued. Also, launches in the north by Hezbollah. Hezbollah said that they used a unique missile as well, and they attacked the Palmachim Air Force Base, they said. So now Israel has not confirmed that or denied or answered it. It's not in the media whatsoever. So we don't know anything about that. But yesterday, right, Saturday, we had a few launches as well during the day. And for one of them, we went down to the bomb shelter. And as soon as we got in there, closed the door, we sat down, there was a sound that we have never heard before. I mean, you know, there's you can tell, like, oh, maybe that was probably an interception, or that was probably an impact. But what we heard was not like either one of those. And we all looked at each other like, what was that? And where was that? But nothing shook. And so we were like, you know, maybe it was just somebody slamming a door or whatever. Well, we came to find out later that fragments of either the shrapnel or a missile, though the mayor said today it was shrapnel, but actually hit a residential complex right across the road over here, right off of Hebron Road, up the hill a little bit. And it hit the residence of a person who works at the American Embassy. Now, it's not American Embassy housing. It's just housing, like anybody could live there. But it was there was also an American diplomat living in this building. So that was pretty serious. There were no injuries. damage was not so bad compared to other things I'm going to show you now. So let me find another thing here. Okay, so this is something that happened today. This is in Rock.
רחוב ירושלים, פינת חברון, בני ברק.
هاي صاروخ هاي صاروخ اهم شيء مش فضيه هاي صاروخ لا يا عمي فضيه مش هيك فضيه بتعمل هيك فضيه بتعمل هيك هذا تشتري من قناه ما اعرف الطريقه كل شيء وراني ده
بس شظيه بس شظيه
هاي صاروخ هاي صاروخ هاي صاروخ اهم شيء.
Okay, so these are some of, this is a little bit just a view of what kind of damage these can cause. Now, in Israel, there have been very few deaths compared to, first of all, compared to the previous war, the 12-day war. You know, we're at 16 days now, and we have fewer casualties than during the 12-day war. Now, the 12-day war, I think the number was something like 25. And now I believe the number is still at 13. And also 2 soldiers were killed in Lebanon. And so not extensive damage. And yeah, it's shut down the economy, that's for sure. It's shut down the schools. But so far, the air defense systems have been working, even despite the fact that there's faster munitions, heavier munitions, and cluster munitions. So that is pretty unbelievable. So that's what's happening here, more or less. Now, another thing that has been occurring lately is, oh, Debbie, are you under a tornado threat right now? Because I see you just wrote in the comments about the tornado threats. And is it better than bombs? I don't know. You know, yesterday we also had thunder, and we weren't sure if it was really thunder or some other explosion. All like just way too many sounds going on these days. Also, there's 2 times a day that I will hear like a lot of planes. And I wonder if that's related to the bombing runs in Iran, like if it's like they're on their way there or on their way back, but I don't know. Okay, so Iran is also stepping up its game and sending messages to Israelis to get them to spy for them. Like, go take pictures of buildings. You know, they'll ask for specific buildings, and they encourage people to go and get pictures. And actually, they've been targeting kids, youth, and specifically in Jerusalem. So trust me, we checked the phones in this house just to make sure that you know, we didn't see any of these messages. But that's what's happening. But not to be outdone, the Mossad is also asking for help from Iranian citizens, and they have on their page in Farsi, they have asked for pictures from residents of their streets if they see any like police activity of the besieged, if they see like checkpoints or just any other government or police activity. So apparently that, all right, so they've put out that target. Now, I don't know how Iranians will be able to get those messages across, considering the internet has been shut down since the beginning of the war. But anyway, we have heard that they may have been able to get some out. Well, then again, I can't confirm that those are real messages. But one message that I heard, again, can't confirm, is that they sent the coordinates for the Iranian public broadcasting network, because they said as long as this propaganda is being broadcast, Iranians are going to not understand where actually the war stands, because of course, according to Iranian media, they're winning, everything's great, etc. So, and of course they think that, and if the war did end today, they would still be in power. So anyway, there are still attacks going on around all of the neighboring states, including the Gulf. There were a couple of drones or missiles repelled by Qatar today. There was an attack in Kuwait. I think an Italian military base was hit. Also, I think attacks that were repelled in Saudi Arabia. But again, that just goes to show that there is an effort to attack over there, and specifically the oil companies. And also Baghdad airport came under fire. And that's where some American, I don't know if it's military or diplomats, were believed to be. Also, we talked about yesterday that a lot of targets in Dubai and I think Oman yesterday. And I think I saw Bahrain, something happened in Bahrain today. But again, it's just like a big territory to cover. And also, if you're not there, it starts to sound like, repetitive. What else? Of course, there is always the issue of the Strait of Hormuz, and the Karg Island attack that was yesterday by the U.S. that actually left all of the oil facilities intact. Now, it's not where they make their oil, but it's where they transit their oil. But I think 90% of Iranian oil transits through Karg Island. So that's why the U.S. being there would be like a very strategic move if they decided to, if they were able to conquer that island, because then it would put Iran in a very, very tenuous position, at least economically. And so that could be part of the calculation of going there. And now there's a lot of American warships that are now moving in that direction more than were originally planned. So I guess it makes sense, considering how long it does take for these aircraft carriers and other the huge ships. They take a while to get here. So it makes sense when they're talking about like another 3 weeks of the war that it's possible. All right. So now, one assessment that I read was that Trump didn't think that it would actually come to this. Otherwise, he might have already had these warships in place. Maybe there was an assessment that the regime would collapse more quickly after the assassination of the supreme leader, which happens like right in the opening hours of the war. Not that there is necessarily there is a replacement, but we haven't seen him. Nobody really knows if he's alive. It's the big question. So what is going to happen now? The attacks will probably go on for a couple of more weeks. And the U.S., Israel has said that it has many, many more targets. It has a bank of targets. So they could continue for a while. But all of this, possibly waiting for a ground invasion, if possible. If it's on the cards, it could be from Karg Island, and it could be like the reason they're bringing these Marines and these other ships there. So I don't know if this is actually something that the U.S. ever intended or wanted. I don't know if it's something that Israel intended or wanted, probably not. And that is probably why they are targeting the besiege right now, the besiege checkpoints, so that in some ways, if you take out the internal security and the police that are there to keep the country shut down and to repress uh, the citizens, that could be, if those police are taken out, it could be giving the citizens the uh, leeway to revolt or to organize an uprising or take to the streets. If you remove these police that are setting up the checkpoints in the street, it could give them, the people, the opportunity to do that. So perhaps this is laying the groundwork for regime change. But nobody's saying that outright. This is just something that I am totally speculating. Okay, I'm checking some more notes. All right, so there was an evacuate. Iran issued a direct warning to U.S. diplomatic, military, and civilian employees to evacuate your locations immediately because they plan to attack in Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, and Jordan. So that was something else that happened today. Now, speaking of leaders that we don't know if they're alive or not, there has been rampant speculation in other media, like in the Arab media, Arabic speaking media, that somebody else is dead. And they were saying that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was killed. And this has been going viral. Like, there are people who really believe it. And then when he finally did give a press conference a couple days ago, instead of just, looking at the video, AI went wild and people were adding fingers. And so he would be talking and he'd have 6 fingers and all of this just to prove, that no, this is AI Netanyahu. He's not real. I have to, maybe I will be able to find for you guys the video that he did today with translation. Let me see. Oh yeah, good. This one has translation. So hold on, I'll get this for you. And by the way, I see a lot of people popped on while I was on another screen. Hello to Sharon and Michael and Janine. Oh my gosh, Janine, good to see you. So cool.
Facebook, you let somebody that's commenting
Who?
on YouTube.
Yes. Oh, well, let me read the comments actually. It's why. All right, I will in a second, but I'm going to show you this video. Okay, so. All right, I'll rewind it. Hold on a second.
פה.
All right.
תודה. מה שאלת אותי?
ראש הממשלה אומרים ברשת שאתה בכלל מת?
אני מת על קפה, אתה יודע מה? אני מת על העם שלי. איך הם מתנהגים, פנטסטי. אתה רוצה לספור את מספר אצבעות?
אתה יכול להראות לנו?
פה. פה. ראית?
יפה מאוד.
לחיים.
ראש הממשלה מסר לאנשים שיוצאים ומתאווררים.
All right, so you guys see that? I don't know if you could read the subtitles fast enough, but like it sounds better in Hebrew. But it's like people are saying you're dead, and he's like, yeah, he's like, the literal translation Hebrew is, I'm dead for coffee, or I die for coffee. Like, didn't you die? Yes, I die for coffee. And I mean, that's how that's the literal translation. But so he did the video to basically show anybody who thought that he was not alive that he's not just alive, but he's walking around and everything is safe in the country. Like, you notice the fact that he went to a coffee shop and was just drinking his coffee out, in a regular coffee shop. We're not really sure what city or whatever, but it was basically to show that this is not, it's not dangerous here. Everything is safe. Like, you're not succeeding. So there were a lot of messages that were going on over there. Let me just check out some of the comments. Yeah, so it looks like, by the way, in response to a question, so Carg Island looks like where the Marines would be going, and there were a couple ships that were headed there. Yeah, so we don't really know what's going on with the IRGC leadership, although Israel has claimed to taken out many of them. And it was, I think Trump today said that he has intel that, well, Hegseth said yesterday that what's his name, the supreme leader, now Moshtaba, the Mojo, that he is disfigured. But then Trump also said something like, oh, his father didn't think he was very smart and didn't want him to be the leader or something. So I guess Trump is now engaging in psychological warfare. Yeah, so the $10 million reward for people to turn him or anyone else in, yes. And you also saw a video of them blowing up some sort of vehicles. Yeah, okay, I don't know. I didn't see that specific video. And then I have seen some videos, but again, I'm like not sure what I can confirm, so I don't necessarily share it all. Right. So he's walking around now, unlike the supreme leader that has not been seen, who some people say is in a hospital on life support, or maybe he's just hiding because he will be targeted. Whereas Netanyahu was trying to obviously send the message that that look, you can't get me, and I'm out in the open. So anyway, since the rocket barrages, which went until around like 3 o'clock this afternoon or so, it's been quiet, except for the north where Hezbollah has been firing, but not as much. Now, one thing, and probably I'll just end it with this, is that there is still a lot going on in Lebanon. Hezbollah is entrenched there in southern Lebanon, and Israel is right now. When Hezbollah got involved, that was all Israel needed to say, like, "Oh yeah, we're going all in," and there are reports that Israel is going to set up a huge buffer zone and clear the villages in the south and keep that to push back Hezbollah as much as possible. Now, in the meantime, it's not just like we're going to take the whole area and that's it. They are going after Hezbollah targets all the way up to Tyre and Sidon and in Beirut, and it's I think almost 900 people have been killed in all of this fighting on the Lebanese side, and including a priest. And we talked about this in a couple broadcasts ago, that there was a priest in a Christian village who was killed in an Israeli attack or during an Israeli attack. And actually, I just heard a Lebanese Christian who did a video where he said, hey, you people in the West, let me tell you something. No matter how he died, I will tell you who's responsible. 100% Hezbollah is responsible for his death. And this guy said, I am a Christian Lebanese. And he said, Hezbollah is the cause of all the problems here. They should not have been in the Christian village. This is a Christian village. What are you doing in there? They should not be there. And he said that basically because of the chokehold that they have on that area, they are responsible for bringing any Israeli fire on the place. Now, he said, I'm not defending Israel. He was more so defending the U.S., and he even thanked the U.S., and he wants to see an end to Hezbollah terrorism in the area. But he said, but he wasn't necessarily, it doesn't make him for Israel. But he was saying that this is not Israel killing a priest. He goes, this is war, and they're going after their enemy, which is Hezbollah, and Hezbollah should not have been in this Christian village. So anyway, I was like, wow. But it's Lebanon, and I'm sure there's a million opinions on that. But that was one interesting one for sure. So okay, well, that is actually, he said Hezbollah they use the same strategies as Hamas. They use innocent human shields. And anyway, he also said that there are two narratives out there. One is that he was killed by an Israeli, whether it was like in the Israeli attack, he said, or he was shot by Hezbollah. But he said, I don't even need to know the how exactly he was killed. I just know that Hezbollah was responsible. So anyway, that was very interesting. Okay. As far as what we have here, we don't have school. There is school in some, like maybe in like some random parts of Israel, school may open tomorrow or is allowed to open tomorrow. We won't have school for at least all of this week, and then maybe it'll be reconsidered next week. I can tell you there's a lot of traffic and people are out and about, but we have a very weird sense of routine going on right now. And we now know it's going to last for about 3 more weeks. So anyway, so I guess that's pretty much the roundup of news for the day. It never disappoints, does it? It's just like, I'm already at 30 minutes. That's amazing. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. If you haven't checked out my Substack, you can, I think the link is, if you're on YouTube, I think the link is in the description. Well, I got to make sure it is. Anyway, it was supposed to be, but that's also a great way to support my work. I also am posting for those who have a challenge with attention span. I'm doing like a 1 to 2 minute update every day in the morning. And that goes on YouTube Shorts. And I think it gets shared to Facebook, but also Instagram. Instagram, very new for me. And if you're new here from Instagram, welcome. Welcome. I have to say it's been an adventure. All right. Well, thank you all for joining, and have a great day or night wherever you are. We're going to go catch some sleep before the next siren. Ciao.